Hi there folks, welcome to RRTV's live coverage of the Skip Barber Monday Lights Racing Series. We're coming to you live tonight from Oulton Park for round 9 of this series, and once again we have Alex McCullough joining me. And Alex, it's another good showing for the drivers tonight.
Yeah, Bernie, thanks Bernie. Welcome everyone to another great night of action here at Oulton Park this week, as you say, Bernie. Yeah, we've got a great field that's turned up tonight. Once again, pulling off the second highest strength of field for the week. Those of you watching at home, that means the collective skill rating of the drivers involved tonight averages the second highest strength of field for the week. So really looking forward to another high quality race, Bernie, on what is a really fun layout.
Yeah, it certainly is, and let's have a look at the points while the guys are doing the qualifying, you know, that thing they do. So let's have a look at the moment. Alex, we've got Luke Whitten leading 184 points to Huck on 151 points, so that looks like quite a big gap, but as you were saying off air, it looks like Luke's not here tonight.
Yeah, Luke's away this at the moment. He missed the Australasian Super Skips last night as well, and so that opens the door for a few people, of course. But what it also does is, another thing that opens the door, I should say, is that last week we had some server issues with the second and third splits, so the community rallied together to make a decision about that. Those guys that missed out on points and what we should do with that. The decision was taken to add an extra drop round to this season, so all the drivers will be getting a bonus drop round, but it also means we only count 7 weeks. So just checking up the tally here, Bernie, although it looked like a one-horse race with Luke running away with it, Håkon Grebstad, who's here tonight, of course, he's got a 0-point round to drop, so the championship, with Luke being away and the extra drop round in play, is really opened wide up with Håkon and Luke Whitten now running pretty much a 2-horse race till the end, Bernie.
Yeah, and then we've got Dennis Fiedler and Enzo Cantor there battling it out for 3rd and 4th on 132 points, and Mick Gray's down there just ahead of Kevin Henderson. So we saw Mick in the last race, and he looks really racy out here tonight.
Yeah, Mick's doing really well. He doesn't always qualify the best. However, his consistency on track is usually rewarded with pretty good results. Hoping he gets a great result here tonight. He's got a few bombed rounds that he can drop, I think, to further his tally and cement his place in the top 5 for the season, Bernie.
Yeah, so we'll see how that shapes up. Now, the guys are, of course, out there qualifying. Andrew Welter has made the grid. We weren't sure if he was going to actually race tonight, but he is out there, Alex, so that's great. And we've got Alfredo, that's a new name I haven't seen, Marlowe from Iberia, sitting in provisional pole at the moment, and he's set a time of 1:47.177.
Yeah, lightning fast in these conditions, Bernie. I had the pleasure of racing with Alfredo during the week. He's the number 1 seated car, number 1 plate on his car tonight. From personal experience, I can tell you he's super fast. And if the guys let him get a bit of a gap, he'll just run away with it based on the pace that I saw, Bernie. So they'll be wanting to keep him in check and ride his coattails depending on where he qualifies, and then make a race of it towards the end, Bernie.
Yeah, and we can see Timothy Gaukridger at the moment. He's on his final lap. Oh, I hope he didn't get an off track there. His best time 1:47.483, and we'll follow him around and we'll see if he can actually improve on that. You can see in your left hand corner, folks, you've got the time of the pole sitter and you've got his actual time, so you can count down with us.
Yeah, Timothy, another really fast racer that I raced with this week. He took out a couple of races that I was in. Really quick, raced really strong and pretty fair at the same time. So that's the kind of racing you want to see, and quite frankly, what I expect to see around this track tonight with this high-quality field.
Yeah, and he did a 1:47.281 that lap, so he improved, but not enough. Håkon Grebstad 1:47.507, so he hasn't improved either. But Jeremiah Morton, he has jumped up to 3rd, so good on Jeremiah, and he had a great race last week, and I'm sure he's excited to back that up again tonight.
Yeah, great second lap from the flying Jeremiah Morton there, Bernie. Put him in a great position to start this race. Oulton Grebstad known this week to sort of bomb a couple of his second laps, but having said that, he's 5/1000ths behind. There's a mouthful for you. 5/1000ths behind Jeremiah in third. So really hard to split him at this track, Bernie, and augurs well for a fantastic race.
Oh, it certainly does, and we can see out there at the moment Tim Hendrickson, and he's done his 2 laps. In fact, all of them has. The only one that hasn't is the flying pink skin. I don't know, we're going to have to think of a good name for him. Carlos Sorrentez is back out there tonight, and he's on his second flying lap now.
Yeah, back in the hill climbers jersey, I'm going to call that one. The sprinter's jersey's green, isn't it? So I think the pink one's the hill climbers jersey, although he's got some freshly painted on polka dots too. Great to see Carlos back. He's a regular here, of course, and another one that I've seen out there tonight who again has finished his laps. He's qualified in P11. Jared Marks, who's cracked it for his one of his very few, if not only, runs in the top split. He finished third in the race preceding this, just to snatch car number 18 in this high quality field, Bernie.
Okay, awesome. What about Kevin Henderson? He's out here, but he has not completed a lap yet.
No, it looks like he's. I'm just going to check here. Got a 1x on his, which invalidates his time on his first lap. He's just coming up to complete his second lap with about 20 seconds left in the session. He started late, finished late, and he has lodged a 1:47.6, which jumps him all the way up to 5th, Bernie. So great ultimate result there for Kevin.
I tell you what, he couldn't do it any more perfect, could he? Because as he crossed the line, he ran out of time. So that was absolutely time to
well timed.
perfection.
Yeah, spot on.
I'm a bit tongue-tied here, but let's have a look at the grid and let's see if I can get even more tongue-tied. So Alfredo Marlowe will start from pole position tonight with Timothy Gaukridger in second. In the second row, we have Jeremiah Morton with Hakon Grebstad. Kevin Henderson, he'll start out of 5th tonight with Tim Hendrickson starting out of 6th. In 7th, we've got Andrew Welter, followed by Darryl Ridley. Christian Kabanka will start out of 9th next to Russell Clark. In 11th is Dennis Fiedler and 12th Jared Marks. Out of 13th, David McDonald, and 14th we've got Mick Gray. Sam Katakazinos is starting out of 15th. Andrew Precario in 16th. Benjamin Soko, he's going to start out of 17th tonight with Carlos Sorrentez starting out of 18th.
Great to see some international drivers here. Bernie, Christian Kabanka coming up, what I assume is really late for him. And also, who else did I spot? Andrew Precario from the New York club in the US. He'd be one to watch. He's a long way back in the field for someone at his pace. Bernie, regularly doing pretty well in the big soft race and the 2K Cup. I'd expect to see him climb through the field from there, Bernie.
Yeah, he's a very fast charger, isn't he? And we'll see how he goes. We're just waiting for the starters' orders here tonight, folks. Here we go. The starters, giving them the go-ahead. We're under red, waiting for the green flag to drop, and we're away here at Oulton Park for round 9 of the Skip Barber Monday Lights. And we can see on the inside there, we've got Alfredo Marlowe takes the lead. I'm just seeing Timothy is tucked into second.
Yeah, the guys are just sorting themselves out through turn 1 there, Bernie. A couple of them running wide, which is okay. At this stage, you pick up an incident point, but better that than bin your race. Everyone seems to have got through cleanly as they head down into turn 3. 2x2 still trying to sort themselves out. And but the leaders got away very cleanly indeed, Bernie, as we head towards turn 5 for the first time.
Yeah, so the top 5 at the moment, as you can see on the left-hand screen, folks. Alfredo Marlowe leads, Timothy Gaukridger in second, Jeremiah Morton sitting in third. Keep an eye on him tonight, as we will with Hakon Grebstad. Kevin sitting in 5th, looking racy, and that's your top 5.
Yeah, a little bit of contact as they went through the turn 5 hairpin at the end there. Traffic checked up, Mick Gray ran into the back of... Oh, he's collected him again, Andrew Precario. I'd been talking about him through the race. He's barrel rolled there. I think he picked up a bit of damage in that initial contact, trying to get out of the way. Mick Gray's unfortunately clipped him and put it in the wall on the outside of the long straight there at the back, Bernie.
Yeah, we're just having a look at this replay now, and I'll tell you what, it was busy up here, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was very busy. Little contact there as the traffic checked up, as I said, and then 2x2 they went around out of turn 5. And Andrew looks like he's understood his damage and just caught Mick out again, unfortunately. And I think, who was it? Benjamin Soko got caught up in there as well, as did Sam Katakazina. So not a great return for Sam, which is a real shame, Bernie.
Yeah, it looked like Andrew was stepping aside there, and he got cleaned up by Benjamin Soko, I think. Got him on the outside, but I tell you what, the wheel-to-wheel action there wasn't any room, was there? And yeah, what can you say? It's racing.
Yeah, it was racing. Then, it looks like we've lost David McDonald as well, potentially the green car behind him, which I think, by the looks of it, had it was Jared Marks. He's outbraked himself into the chicane following. I tell you what, there's been some incidents early on, haven't there, Bernie?
Certainly has, and we just having a look at this replay. It happened a fair time ago, so we didn't get that, but he's in the pits now getting service, so that's his race done. As far as a good result, here goes, but Marlowe's leading Timothy at the moment. Jeremiah, he's looking pretty busy with Huck on behind him, and Kevin's decided he's going to try and tag on the back of this.
Yeah, from that top 5, Bernie, you've got a good lot there. You've got Tim Hendrickson sitting in 6 behind them, with Christian Kabunka just a sniff out of drafts range with Dennis Feather in 7th there. So this front 6 looking to really set the pace as we see Hawkon go around the outside of Jeremiah there through the Hislop chicane as they head out now through Nickenbrook and up the back again on their way into Drew. It's a really challenging section, double right-hand apex up the top of this hill, Bernie, and a lot of fun when you get it right.
Yeah, not so much fun if you get it wrong.
No, affectionately named McKellar Bend after all the accidents I had there last season.
Yeah, I think we were actually covering one of the races where you binned it in there.
Yeah, wouldn't have been hard to find one. Hawkon nearly binned it there himself, Bernie. Jeremiah now pulling up on the outside as they head into the final corner. Kevin cutting the nose off, making sure Tim Hendrickson doesn't find a way through there as they headed through Lodge on the end of lap 2, Bernie. There's what that has allowed to happen, there's Alfredo and Timothy Gorkrocher to skip away at the front, Bernie.
Yeah, and that's what you were saying in the qualifying, wasn't it? That Timothy cannot let Alfredo get away from him, because if he does, he's gone. And you can just see by the pace these two are setting, that gap last time through was 2.2 seconds, and we've only done 2 laps here at Oulton Park.
Yeah, well, that little misstep that Hawkon had through Druids really cost this group the tail of Timothy and Alfredo. Now, I know Timothy has easily got the pace to at least sit in Alfredo's draft, if not challenge him at the later stages in the race. But with just shy of a 2-second gap, I suggest the handful of guys chasing them might struggle to catch him from here, Bernie.
Yeah, I'd say so. Another person struggling out there at the moment is Benjamin Soko. I know it's been a hot day here in Canberra, 18 degrees, but he's decided he's going to let his legs get a little bit of a cool down tonight.
Yeah, it looks like he's driving around without any nose, which is going to make the technical corners here a little bit more challenging, I'm sure. And down in P15 at this stage, he might be better served by taking the pit and the fast repair that you get in this series, Bernie. But having said that, the quality of the field, he's going to find it hard to claw back from there anyway. So anyway, he'll be enjoying the breeze if nothing else.
Yeah, exactly right. And one person that won't be enjoying the breeze at the moment is Jeremiah Morton, because he can feel the pressure of Kevin Henderson breathing down his neck at the moment. And I tell you what, Kevin's looking really impressive here once again tonight.
Yeah, he's doing a great job there, sitting in 5th place currently, looking to really try and open up a bit of a gap. Tim Hendrickson now, he got a great run out of Lodge there, that lap, Bernie. He was just about to reach outside that 1 second mark behind Kevin there, but they haven't got away just yet. Kevin, Jeremiah and Hawkon looking to not only break away from the chasers, but see if they can't catch Alfredo and Timothy up front. Having said that, they're almost out to 2.5 seconds, so an extra 3/10 that lap they lost, and looking to be quite a big challenge from here, Bernie.
Yeah, it definitely is, and I tell you what, Timothy is keeping Alfredo honest up here at the front. It's pretty much come down to these two at the moment. That gap now stretched out to 2.5 seconds, but looking at their lap times, last time by, Alfredo set 147.094 with Timothy setting a 147.121.
Yeah, well, so they're right up there. They're about 3 or 4 tenths ahead of the other guys. Hawkon got a bad run out of the turn 5 hairpin burn. He's just been swallowed up by both Jeremiah and Kevin, who's going around the outside of the Hislop chicane there as they head through Knickerbrook now. Although that's compromised Kevin's run out, and Hawkon will be all over the back of him here. It'll be interesting to see whether he settles in behind as they on the run up to Druids, or whether he no, he's just going to settle in behind there and hopefully not lose too much out to Tim Hendrickson and Christian Kabanga and Dennis, who's all chasing them down, Bernie, although they look to be one long snake again at this stage.
They certainly do, and you can see now Huckon, he's having a look on the outside. Kevin's covered him off there, so we'll see if he has a look up here into turn 1 after they get past Deer Leap.
Yeah, they go through Deer Leap, as you say now, and I see this train stretches all the way back to Darryl Ridley in P11, Bernie, so plenty of action still ahead of us now as they all line astern there. Looks like Jeremiah ran a bit wide of the apex there, cost him a little bit. Christian Kabunka at the tail of this field again. He got another bit of a slow run there. It's the guys will probably use the draft and concertina up again to form one long snake again, but right in the middle of that, you've got Hawkon and Kevin, who battled it out for the race win at the time slot prior to this, Bernie, once again finding themselves together on the track for an action-packed race.
You can see further back here in 7th, we've got Christian Kabanka, Dennis Fiedler, Andrew Welter currently sitting in 9th at the moment, and we'll see how he goes, but it looks like he's got his hands full at the moment. He's got Dennis in front of him in the Oulton car, and then he's got Milo behind him in the shape of Russell Clark. You know, I know he's quick, get it?
Well, he was running some Cadbury livery earlier in the season, something about chocolate drinks that's floating around in the Aussie skip communities. We see Hawkon make the move up the inside of Kevin this time. Got a much better run out of the turn 5 hairpin there, Bernie, and made the move stick through the Hislop chicane as they run up the hill through turn 10 now, Bernie.
Yeah, we're riding with Tim Hendrickson at the moment in 6 as he was looking on the outside there. Thought twice of it because Kevin's thinking, let's go too wide through, I think that's Druids there. And I thought if anyone's going to try too wide, it will be Kevin.
Yeah, absolutely. He doesn't want to sit and die wondering, does he? He's going to look up the inside now as they head into Lodge. And all the time, what Jeremiah's thinking, great run from Hawkon on the outside. Got the excellent drive. Tim Hendrickson all over the back of Kevin now looking for what opportunities he can make, and the cars behind all thinking the same thing, but meanwhile Jeremiah Morton's taking full advantage of this. He's side by side through turn 1. Tim Hendrickson, Kevin Henderson once again. Compromise run for Tim Hendrickson sees Christian Kabunka through turn 2 on the outside, sets him up for the inside of turn 3 now, Bernie. It's all action, it's all stations go at this stage.
Yeah, I tell you what, they're not shy, are they? Putting their left leg forward there, and it looks like Tim's held Christian out there, or has he? But that's brought Dennis Fiedler up into the action. Andrew Welter, he wants a part of it as well. And this train, it's starting to get pretty interesting back here.
Yeah, a lot of movement throughout this order, more than I would have expected potentially, but everyone wants to improve their position. Dennis Fiedler left to hang out to dry through turn 4 on the way into turn 5 there. He did very well, very easy to get on the grass and lose it through there. He's done well. He's defending now from Andrew Welter. Car plate number 2, surprised to see Andrew so far back, but just goes to show the quality of the field. Dennis actually let him through there. Didn't want to compromise their run and the race in general. Thought better of it and let him through to live to fight another day.
Yeah, and we'll see what Andrew can do now. He's coming up behind Christian Kabunka, so we'll see if Christian lets him through. I don't think so, but you never know. The further up he gets, though, the harder it's going to get for him.
Yeah, absolutely. He's got the pace to mix it with these guys. It'll be interesting to see how far he gets up through the field. Christian thinking about taking the defensive line there into Lodge and does so. Just didn't really give Andrew too much of an opportunity to poke his nose there, although it didn't look like he was ready to. But jumping back up front, Bernie, Timothy and Alfredo have jumped out to a 4-second lead with the chasing pack of Jeremiah Morton, led by Jeremiah Morton, I should say, a full 4 seconds behind now. And the guys up there are lapping. Well, I've seen Timothy in the draft drop into the 146.9s, Bernie, which is a fantastic time around here in these conditions. 40-degree track temp last time I checked, so that's very warm around here. You think in Britain it might be a bit cooler, but not tonight, Bernie.
No, it's definitely warm out there tonight, that's for sure. And further down, we can see Carlos Sorrentes here. He's up to 13th position now, and pushing forward in his pink livery. And the next person up from him is Jared Marks. We haven't seen much of Jared tonight. He started in this position, and he's pretty much still in 12th, having a very lonely race back here.
Yeah, he shot off the back of that group, at the tail end of which are Russell Clark and Darryl Ridley. The traffic checked up on him through the Hislop chicane on lap 1 or 2, I think it was, and he collected the back of one. I think it might have been David McDonald, unless memory's not serving me correctly, and that's really sort of put pay. I'm not sure if he's carrying much damage, although if I look on the front, his front bent wing maybe. Car seems to be tracking okay, and I know he's got good pace, so it's a real shame for Jared, and like I said, one of his few appearances in the top split this season. Then,
yeah, I thought it was, because we haven't seen his name up here that often, but it's good to see he got into the top split, and he's enjoying his run here. As the guys up front, we can see now Tim Hendrickson dropping a little bit off Kevin Henderson there, and he's got Christian behind him, Andrew behind him, and then of course we've got Huck on here trying to get past Jeremiah while he's fending off Kevin, and he's probably remembering last race, because that went down to half a nose for the win between him and Kevin Henderson.
Yeah, he'll be trying to learn his lessons from that one, and how Hawkon set him up for that. Hawkon, of course, taking out the victory on that occasion. Interesting to see the pace that Hawkon had on display. Jeremiah, I thought, was going to break away from this group, but Hawkon reeled him in really nicely there. But Jeremiah sitting on the front of what is a fairly racy pack now, vying for the final step on the podium, Bernie.
Yeah, and any of these guys can get it, and we're looking from the gearbox can of Huckon there, and as you said, that train, I think it's going all the way back to Russell Clark at the moment, possibly even Darryl Ridley.
Yeah, absolutely. Darryl Ridley sitting in P11, so you got P3 to P11 covered by not very much. It's about 2.8 seconds for the lot of them, or 2.6 seconds for the lot of them, but got a bit awkward through there. It looks like Christian Kabanka forced to run wide. The traffic checks up. They all sorted out. That's really good driving, considering the awkward nature of that run through that chicane. The only sort of offshoot of which is the front three. Oh, look at that. Kevin Henderson up the inside of Jeremiah Morton after Hawkon also went through. That's a very nice piece of work there through Druids on lap 8 there, Bernie.
Yeah, another nice piece of work was, I think it was Darryl Ridley there. I was trying to get my words right here. He had to check up. He nearly got in the back of Andrew Welter, I think it was, and he jumped on the brakes and avoided that collision as well.
Yeah, there's a few of them there that had to take some pretty dramatic evasive action there. I'm actually really impressed that there was no contact there and no damage and no nights ending in tears, so to speak. It shuffled the pack a little bit in terms of who's where and what runs were taken, and it's really left a pack of 4 now fighting for that P3, although Christian Kabunka's still got a sniff of the draft here. It'll just be a matter of what these 4 fighting for third at the head of that pack at least can make of the little bit of the gap they got, Bernie.
Yeah, I reckon all of those guys, they're not going to vie for position. They're just going to sit back there and behave themselves and catch up again, I'm sure of it. I've got that feeling.
Yeah, it might be at this stage, although they've only got 4.5 laps remaining here, Bernie, and the lap around here, as we said, sub 2 minutes, so they better get a wriggle on, because these guys will be making every place to win it from here.
Yeah, I was being sarcastic.
Sorry, mate, I had the filter on, didn't quite pick it up. Hawkon on the inside of Kevin now as they go through the Hislop chicane on lap 9, Bernie, side by side. You could almost drive another car through them. They left a lot of room there, high quality stuff again. Hendrickson now on the back of that pack clearly now, but what they have done is they've broken up to a 1.2 second gap now to Christian Kabunka down in P7, with Dennis Fiedler putting pressure all over the back of him there, Bernie, hoping above all else as they go through Druids again now on lap 9 they can get back onto those guys vying for P3, Bernie.
Yeah, and Andrew Welter got it all wrong down there at Hislop chicane. He's had to take to the infield there. He's checked out pretty much now out of this. He's in 11th and a long way back, so he's out of the running of this big train now. But I tell you what, looking at Tim Hendrickson here, he's looking on the left he wants to make a move, he just can't find the place to do it, and he's looking hungry. But Kevin is all over the back of Hakon here. Jeremiah, well, he's putting the pressure on Kevin, and then Tim, well, he's darting around like a field mouse in a hot weather day. There you go.
Well, certainly the weather for it anyway, Bertie. Tim Hendrickson's had great pace here in the racing that I've seen him do this week, charging his way through fields and taking out a win or two that I saw. He's certainly making it uncomfortable for Jeremiah there, who's sitting in P5 at the moment, looking the inside and out through turn 3 there. Oh, he's right up on the gearbox now as they head through turn 5. Hairpin there as they're... Well, they've got the balance of 4 laps now, 3.5 remaining, Bernie. So we're starting to get to the pointy end, and I'm sure if we haven't seen enough action already, there's still plenty to go.
Certainly is, and Bailey in the chat room was asking how many laps are there in this race. Well, it's a 13-lap race tonight. I jumped because someone was, I saw it running into each other. 13 laps tonight around here, and we're down to the 4 laps remaining.
Yeah, that's right. 3.3 now as they exit the Hislop chicane, this big group. Once again, Kevin and Hawkon side by side. Kevin really forcing Hawkon to the outside of the track as they approach Druids once again. Oh, a little bit of checking up there, but they all get it sorted out. Once again, where we all the way back down to P11, oh, beg your pardon, P10 with Andrew Welter dropping out with that incident you described earlier. Still in the running for a podium position, Bernie.
And Christian went to have a look on Tim. Meanwhile, Tim was looking on Jeremiah there, and they were sort of staggered 3 wide going into, where were they? I think they were coming into Lodge Corner, but they're tucked back in now. And I tell you what, we've got a great battle pack of 4 in each here, but don't forget, folks, up front, of course, we've got Alfredo and Timothy taking to each other like they have since the start, and they're still only separated by 0.3 of a second.
Yeah, Timothy's done really well. Sat in the draft here for what I can assume has just been the whole race. Bernie's he's 0.2 behind with just the 2.5 laps to go now as they run through turn 5. He will have had a good look at how Alfredo's run his laps and be looking for what he can do towards the closing stage to see if he can't jag a win, Bernie.
Yeah, well, I tell you what, his last lap of 1:46.871, so both of these guys are in the 1:47s now, and they're about a second a lap faster than Kevin and Hakon last lap through.
Yeah, well, what Kevin and Hawkon are doing right now as they approach the Hislop chicane again, 2 by 2, that's going to slow them down by that sort of margin each race, each lap, I should say. You can see they're side by side throughout the whole chicane. Hawkon getting the better drive out there, forced to go wide again. That wider line does give him a better drive, though, on the exit there. Oh, as you say, Tim Hendrickson squirrely all over the back of Jeremiah Morton there in P5 and 6 respectively. He's gone to the outside around Druids. Very hard to make that work, Bernie. The double apex right-hander there at Druids. Very tricky to get offline and make it work, Bernie. It's compromised him. He's ducked in behind Jeremiah, who's gone defensive as they approach Lodge. And again, Hendrickson skipping all around the track, trying to defend from Christian, Bernie. Plenty of action as they cross the line with just the 2 laps remaining.
Yeah, it's a huge amount of action. I think this is the first time I've seen Tim darting around so much in one of these races, and he's really wanting to get ahead of Jeremiah there, but he's got a lot of pressure, as you said, from Christian at the moment. And if you were Christian, would that worry you a little bit, seeing someone in front darting around that much?
Yeah, well, not in front so much. Certainly if I was in Jeremiah's shoes, I'd be a little bit concerned. But I know, having raced with Tim Hendrickson a fair bit, I know that he's got the good car control, and not to worry too much. There's Kevin up front, just forces Hawk onto the outside of turn 4 as they run down into turn 5. Very difficult to make that work. Both of them doing very well there. But going back to your original point, Bernie, yeah, I'd be more worried if I was in front of Tim doing that than I would be behind. But certainly Tim doing everything he can to unsettle Jeremiah sitting in front of him, Bernie, and see if he can't move up the order a little bit in the closing stages.
Yeah, we can see once again Hakon, Kevin going side by side into Hislops. Tim's trying to do the same with Jeremiah back there. He doesn't quite have it, but that pushes Hakon out, and Jeremiah's pounced. So has Tim Hendrickson, and so has Christian. So a bit of a mess there for Hakon.
Yeah, look, Kevin kept him over a bit to the right-hand side on the approach to Hislop that time. That sort of squeezed his angle a little bit. Didn't look like they made contact, but I can't rule it out at this stage, Bernie, and that just unsettled Hawkon's line enough to put him on the grass, and it cost him 3 positions by the look. There's a few of them. Oh, Hendrickson's hung onto it. Has that compromised his run? No, he forces Christian to go to the outside. You can get a good drive around the outside of Lodge, but no, Christian has ducked in behind here, trying to defend from Hawkon, coming back through as best he can with just the 1 lap remaining as they cross the line now, Bernie.
Yeah, we had a look at that replay. There was actually slight contact with Huckon and Kevin there, which got Huckon finding the grass. So that's what occurred back there. But as you said, final lap here, folks. We've got out front Alfredo and Timothy Gaukridge. Timothy really close now on the back of him. And it's going to be interesting to see if he makes a move here. As you said, Alex, he's been sitting behind Alfredo since the start. They're both in the 146s. I'm just wondering if Timothy has anything for Alfredo.
Be interesting to see. He's really got 2 to 3 key opportunities left. The first one here, Alfredo, forcing him to the outside as they run up the straight now into Hislops for the final time. Timothy's got a great run. He can break a little bit later there, but Alfredo, he's got on the grass, and that's probably going to cost it. Well, it's obviously cost him that opportunity. The question will be, can he get the run out of Hislop? As behind them, Jeremiah and Kevin now. Oh, it looks like Kevin's copped a big kiss on the tyre barrier there, although could have just been Netcode telling the false story there, Bernie, because he seems to have driven away okay, but it has allowed Tim Hendrickson to catch up on the back of Jeremiah. I don't know where to look at this stage, Bernie.
Well, Timothy's got past Alfredo while you were talking about that, and they're coming into the final corner here at Lodge, and Alfredo's going to try going around the outside, and Timothy's going to hold him off here. It looks like Timothy's going to snatch this win tonight, and fantastic driving by these two.
Fantastic driving by Timothy, forced Alfredo to the outside. Alfredo outbraked himself slightly. He can get it done around the outside there, but not to be for Alfredo tonight. Fantastic drive from Timothy as Kevin Henderson now looking to cross the line in P3 just ahead of Jeremiah Morton. Tim Hendrickson pulling over just after grabbing a top 5 finish. Benny, what a race.
It was an awesome race, and looking back at the chicane, I'm not sure who it was, but one of the Oulton cars had a bit of trouble going through Hislops.
Yeah, I'm going to bet it was Hawkon based on his finishing position. I'm just going to duck back to it now. It was Oulton car you were saying, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was an Oulton car. I'm also jumping back to see if we can find out who it was.
Oh, it was Dennis Fiedler, unfortunately. He was left outside of the... I think it was Dennis, hang on. It was, it was... Actually, Hawkon, no, I beg your pardon, car number 3. He's left his braking very late there, hit the grass on the outside of the first part of the chicane, come back on and actually clipped, who's that on the way through? Russell Clark on the way through without too much damage by the looks. And then he's got swamped by a bevy of cars in that backpack, Birdie. And unfortunately for Hawkon, it's left him down all the way in P11 by the time he crossed the line, Bernie.
Yeah, we can see over the right there, I'm not sure if that was Mick Gray checking out as well, coming through Druids. We're just having a look at the replay. But yeah, the guys did really well, didn't they? Hawkon sort of parked it in the middle of the road and they were darting around each other. It's like, I don't know, Friday night in the downtown shopping mall.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I just saw Mick Gray's run through Druids there. He had Andrew Welch on his outside, and it looks like on the entry there of what was a very narrow line, the rear of Mick's cars stepped out. He's actually made minor contact with the side pod on Andrew's car, and that's hasn't helped his efforts to hold on to it. And he's managed to do really well, actually. Not many people could recover the car through Druids when that sort of stuff happens, but... unfortunately, I beg your pardon, it was Darryl Ridley, not Mick Gray. I miscalled that. Unfortunately for Darryl, it's dropped him back a few positions. He's ended up in P12, Bernie.
Yeah, so a lot of action there in the final lap. So to tell you what, Timothy, I didn't think he'd have much for Alfredo considering the pace they were going at. But yeah, snatches the win. Fantastic driving by all of them tonight.
Yeah, look, I was really impressed. I mean, the option there for Timothy was always on, right? He had to make it work though. Alfredo towed him around for quite a number of laps, and I'm not sure if you caught the move, Bertie, but it was coming out and of the Hislop chicane up the hill. He's got a great draft and made an early move to the outside on the entry into Druids. He stuck it up the inside. Alfredo gave him the corner, the rear of Timothy's car stepped out a little bit, but then he took the defensive line, even though Alfredo got the better drive. And as we called it at the time, Alfredo just outbraked himself into the final corner, looking for that nice bit of grip on the outside. And as they went over Deer for the final time, Timothy just got a great drive out to take out what is a fantastic win.
Yeah, it certainly was, and we'll bring that back up if we can. I don't know if I can go far enough back for that replay, but yeah, it was a fantastic win, wasn't it? And a great race tonight. And I tell you what, all the way back to 11th tonight, that huge cargo train, I guess you could call it, going back from third all the way back to 11, that was pretty impressive. And the other thing that was impressive was when they got checked up, they didn't run into each other. So good driving.
Yeah, I mean, considering how close the pack ran together, the number of overtakes that were completed successfully, and that pack all vying for P3 that eventually went to Kevin Henderson, of course, they might have been just under 11 seconds off the leaders, but between them, what's that, 3 through to 11, 8 cars, even with all that action, separated by only 5 seconds, Bernie. So at the end, and that's with some offs and some mishaps towards the last couple of laps, but they ran nose to tail for the length of that race, and really impressed with. I'll tell you what else impressed me while I think of it, Bernie. The number of times cars were going through turn one, and all this week we've seen guys run wide, unintentionally and some strategically to gain the extra tenth or two that you can get from doing so. I didn't see much of that tonight at all. Guys were holding a nice tight line and racing clean, fairly, and really hard at the same time. So I was really impressed by the standard of that race, Bernie.
Yeah, so was I. And let's have a look at the final results, folks. So you can see where your favourite driver finished. We can also work out who the biggest mover is and who the biggest shaker was tonight. See, I'm getting it right now. I know what a shaker is. And it's not the thing you put salt in.
No, I think we've coined the term properly now, haven't we?
I think so. So having a look at this, Timothy Gowker just snatches a win from Alfredo in the last half of the last lap and takes the win tonight from Alfredo from Iberia. There you go, I've said it twice now. Kevin Henderson, great run by Kevin there. He beat out Jeremiah Morton for third, and then Tim Hendrickson comes home in fifth. Christian Kabunka finished in sixth with seventh. Russell Clark, Dennis Fiedler eighth. Andrew Welter comes home in ninth. 10th is Jared Marks, 11th Hakon Grebstad, and 12th is Darryl Ridley. And if we have a look at the movement here, there's not a lot. The most is 3 moves up, and that was Christian, Russell and Dennis. And the most going backwards was Hakon, who dropped 7 positions at the moment. So let's move over to the next screen. And Carlos Sorrentes up 5 positions, so he's the mover of the night, with Mick Gray coming home in 14th. 15th was Benjamin Soko. We saw him in trouble with Andrew Picario. I think it was lap 1 or 2. And that ended their night. Sam Catacasinos, we didn't see much of Sam tonight. He comes home in 16th, with David McDonald finishing in 17th, and of course Andrew Picario, he finishes in 18th.
Yeah, Sam and David, and from memory Andrew as well, caught up in an early incident on lap 1 or 2 from memory, Bernie. Shame for Andrew. Of course, he won the Suzuka round here at Monday Night Lights. That was the sort of first he helped on my radar. So to see him, he qualified quite low in P16, if I'm not mistaken. And I was surprised. I said I was surprised to see that at the time, and it's a shame that he wasn't able to work his way up further through the field to put on show what he has. Unfortunate for Hawk on there. Last couple of laps really brought him undone, as you say. The biggest drop from his starting position, down 7 spots from 4th into 11th. But yeah, Carlos Sorrentes, the Sprinters jersey, biggest mover at 5 spots up, Bertie. So that's something to shout out about.
Oh, it certainly is, and it looks like, speaking of shouting out, it looks like we've got our good old mate Mr. Henderson down there, and I reckon coming home third, he's probably got plenty of shouting to do tonight. He can shout me a beer.
I'll bring him up if you want to have a chat, mate.
Yeah, you can chat with him.
No, very good.
Oh, I'll talk to him, I don't mind. Hi Kevin, welcome to the RRTV Combox. We were fighting over who actually got to talk to you, and I lost, so I get to talk first. So, mate, you had an awesome race once again out there tonight. Congratulations, third place. But, yeah, it looked like you had your hands full.
Yeah, you're not wrong, Bernie. That was hard work, I'll tell you that. Racing with Hakon always is, and then you throw Jeremiah in there, and it was, battles all over the road. We let the guys in front get away, and unfortunately, me and Hakon had a little bit of net code in the chicane, which sort of gave me a bit of breathing room. But yeah, it was a great race.
It certainly was, and the driving standard out there was really great as well. We saw a few tricky moments in that huge train, and the guys got checked up, and there wasn't a lot of collisions going on, and just a very high standard of driving on show there tonight.
Yeah, it's exceptional. It's the strength of field we're getting in these Monday night lights now is just outstanding. So yeah, we get a pretty good class of driver in there, and they're all very competitive and they're closely matched. So yeah, get some great racing. Very intense.
Yeah, it certainly was. There was no breathing room for anyone out there, and Tim Hendrickson down there in fifth, he was darting around everywhere trying to get a gap or find some way you could get through, and he just couldn't. But yeah, extremely exciting driving. I think I'm going to hand you over to Alex and he'll confirm, but I think once again we were second as far as the iRacing strength of field goes tonight, Alex.
Yeah, that's correct, Bernie. Massive haul of points on offer. I might have a chat with Timothy Gorkrocher during the week coming. He scored 213 championship points. I'll be interested to know if he scored any more than that, because that's a massive haul. That's about 2 weeks for me, unfortunately. But no, Kevin, it looked like some fantastic racing side by side with Hawkon again tonight. I had the pleasure of doing that myself with him, probably 3 races during the week. I know he's had plenty of practice doing a little bit of net code brought undone, but in the end. But how was that for you, mate? Seat of the pants stuff, or were you working on a strategy in particular, or just seeing how it unfolded?
Yeah, my strategy was to finish fifth where I started. I would have been happy with that. To get to third, I had no choice. I had to go. I mean, there was just go or get swamped, and so I just got stuck into it. I mean, we weren't going to catch the front two, and Hakon is not one to retire gracefully. not trying to say the wrong thing there. I mean, he's very competitive, and so I just had to stick with him. Otherwise, I would have got swamped by Jeremiah and Tim. So yeah, it was very intense. It was hard work, but great fun all the same. The race was over before I knew it. I looked up and me and Hakon had that little bit of net code, and there was 1 lap to go. I couldn't believe it. I thought we only had done 5.
Yeah, well, you did so many of them side by side through that chicane. It was, very impressive racing indeed, and certainly you won't have seen it much. You might watch it throughout the replay potentially during the week, but the standard of driving throughout the field was pretty impressive actually. Small errors here and there cost time and positions, but I was saying even going through turn 1, I didn't see many strategic 1Xs being taken, so to speak, for the little bonus time you get. So from my point of view, and I assume it's the same for you, the standard of driving was excellent, and it looked, from my point of view, to be a lot of fun at the same time.
Yeah, the standard of driving was excellent. It was a lot of fun, although somewhat intense. I was just really trying to hang on there. I did the race before, and Hakon and I did basically the same thing, except he got me by 200s that time round. So yeah, we were side by side through the chicane a couple of times there, so we'd had a bit of practice at it. We knew where both of us were going.
Yeah, that's right, mate. But congratulations on your result again tonight, mate. Third in that field and that quality. Some of the names in there, I mean, the spread of iRating was pretty tight, and the battling just as much. So congratulations on that result, mate. Anyone you'd like to give a shout out to before we let you go?
Oh, just usual, Mark Jeffries from my paint, RRTV. For supporting the series, Bernie and you too, Alex. Great guys, we really appreciate it. Probably don't get the reps you should, but just to let you know, we do all appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks very much, Kevin. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks, Kevin. I wouldn't be anywhere else on a Monday night because these are awesome races. Yeah, so also I'd like to thank everybody in the iRacing community who supported the GoFundMe campaign. So far we've raised $1,462, so I'm absolutely gobsmacked by the amount of support I've received over the last week by the community. So it's fantastic effort, and I'm very, very touched by all that support. Now, anyone who doesn't know what that campaign's about, it's basically upgrading the hardware on RRTV so that we can bring you even better broadcasts, and thanks to the community that's now going to be possible. So a very big thank you from me to everybody who's believed in us and backed in us in this campaign. Thank you very much.
That's great to hear, Bernie. You certainly do a lot behind the scenes, I know, from speaking to you off air, and it's great to see that investment is appreciated by the community, and in such a meaningful way as to, well, they're investing in their own future at the same time. So that's a really fantastic outcome to hear about, Bernie, so congratulations.
Yeah, and I assure you all, the money is going to be spent very wisely, and it's going to be spent for what it was raised for, and I'll keep you all posted on exactly what your money has purchased and how it's being used. So yeah, thank you very much, guys. I really appreciate it. Looking further to the week ahead, well, we've got Friday night, the Australian Online Supercar Championships back, and that's going to be exciting. They went to Bathurst last Friday night, and it was quite an interesting race for sure. They had, I think we had close to 50 V8 supercars around Bathurst, and yeah, a lot of action there. And of course then Saturday night we leave Circuit Villeneuve with the GTEs. The guys will be licking their wounds. That was a heck of a race, and they're moving over to Interlagos for Saturday night's GTE. And then of course Sunday night I think we've got the final RRTV broadcast of the Australasian Super Skips for this season coming your way. So a lot to be seen next weekend on RRTV.
Yeah, look, I know even some of the Skippy drivers are looking forward to the GTE cars going to Interlagos. It's a great track in a Skippy, and seems to complement the GTEs, the Ferraris and the Fords really nicely as well. So that should be a great week and a great night of racing for sure, Bernie. I think we just had one of the Super Skips in the week just gone, so it might skip next week and the one after, but I tell you what, I can't wait either way. I'm looking forward to hopefully getting back on track with this great group of guys that runs every fortnight in the Australasian Super Skip. It's been a fantastic season that's coming pretty much to a close in the next few weeks, and a great success at the same time.
Certainly is, and I'm so excited. I'll just call it. Whether you guys are racing or not, I don't care. I'll sit up here by myself and I'll just... Yeah, I'll call the race next Sunday night. No, we'll see you Sunday week. It always throws me this fortnightly.
There's nothing like being too eager for it, is there?
Yeah, it always throws me this fortnightly turnaround. But yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to that the following Sunday. And then I think Top Split. What have you guys got planned for this week?
Well, the Skippy racing moves to VIR, Virginia International Raceway, if I'm not mistaken. The north layout's a bit shorter rather than the one that you need a co-pilot to navigate your way around the other configurations. So I'll be bringing you a bit of that. No updated podcast yet. The latest one is still with Benny Simonson, professional race car driver, which was a fantastic listen. So just focusing on a bit of Skippy action this week. I've been loving it, so I'm looking forward to doing a bit more of it, Bernie.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing you with your beautiful beard there on your channel. Have you thought about the fireworks yet, and have you got permission to light your beard up?
Well, there'll be no beard burning on display, so to speak, but I'm working on a few things behind the scenes to try and add a bit more production value, shall we say. So over the coming weeks, I hope to add a bit more entertainment value over and above what is the great racing that you see in the Skippies. They're always great in of themselves. So keep an eye out for that over at Top Split TV on Twitch, Bernie.
Okay, this is my suggestion, and I'm sure a lot of the guys in the chat channel will back it. I reckon you need to get a drum kit, right?
Drum kit.
Yeah.
Okay.
So while
What
you're
do I do with the
driving,
drum kit?
while you're driving, go through the corners, hit the cymbal. You know, if you're going to pass someone, do a little bit on the drums as it's building up, and yeah, it could be interesting.
Could well be interesting. Well, I have got some sound effects that people can, during the live stream, bring up, including the old Jaws theme. So when someone's chasing me down or vice versa, tell you what, it gives me a fright every now and then when it pops up, but it's a bit of fun.
How about you play a kazoo?
A kazoo, I could try and do that.
Yeah. We could talk about this all night, but yeah, I'll definitely be tuning in to play that Jaws music. I think that sounds like a lot of fun. And if you're going to do anything really crazy, let me know so I can tune in as well and make sure I can catch it and restream it or something.
Yeah, no worries, Bertie. I'll keep you up to date.
Yeah, but anyway, folks, that's the end of our broadcast tonight. Thank you very much for everyone that's joined us, whether you joined us through iRacing Live or on our YouTube channel. It's been great having your company here. I hope you've enjoyed the racing. We've definitely enjoyed calling it, and hopefully we'll have your company again next Friday night. But I guess, Alex, it's time for you to say goodnight to everyone, and then I'll do the same, and we're out of here.
Yeah, good night, everyone. Thanks for joining us again here at Monday Night Lights. Look forward to seeing you again next week.
Yeah, fantastic, and so do I. So have a great work week, folks. Don't work too hard. Play harder if you can, and we'll see you hopefully back on RRTV next Friday night. Good night.